Hello, viewers of the future. I'm Endragh, and welcome to more reading of Color of Magic. Last time, we found out that the camera... Actually, before I get into that, I do want to say, I'm sorry if things are like change look or change sound quality or stuff like that. I'm still trying to work it out. I'm also planning to move soonish, hoping. I'm looking now, currently apartment hunting, so, like, I don't really have a set up yet. When I move, I'll figure out some place to set up and read, and it'll be the same stuff, and I'll maybe have the camera set up at all times, but right now it's still adjusting, and, I pretty much started this because I was like, if I don't do this, I'm never gonna do this, and that's how I started my Let's Plays and my live streams as well, because I was very much, if I don't do this, I'm never gonna do this. So even though I wasn't fully set up with all the fancy equipment and all the fancy backgrounds and all that stuff, I did want to, like, just start. Because I can always improve. I can always get better, and I'll look back on these and be like, yeah, I didn't have that. But, you know, it's always good to start somewhere, even if it's not fully prepared. Anyways, past the, you know, monologue and stuff, let's start reading, shall we? So last time, sorry, I just felt like I should say that, just in case people were wondering why the quality isn't great or amazing, or I haven't anything set up. Yeah, that's why. So last time, oh, I also have a drink in case I get thirsty, so you might see me drinking. I'll try not to have that be picked up the mic. I don't know, when I'm streaming, I just lift up the mic, and I don't want to adjust the mic this time, so hopefully not. If it does, I'll try and mute it. Alright, now to finally start reading again. My god. Alright, so last time, we found out that the camera doesn't have any pink, and so he can't take any more pictures. I don't know if this is where we left off exactly. I think I'll read the last line that we said last time. If it's more than the last line, sorry. Alright, yeah, sure, said Rincewind. In one dim corner of the little box, he thought he could see an easel and a tiny unmade bed. He hoped he couldn't. So long as that's understood, said the imp, and shut the door. Rincewind thought he could hear the muffled sounds of grunting and the scraping of a stool being dragged across the floor. Twoflower, he began, and looked up. Twoflower had vanished. As Rincewind stared at the crowd with sensations of prickly horror traveling up his spine, there came a gentle prod in the small of his back. Turn without haste, said a voice with like black silk, or kiss your kidneys goodbye. The crowd watched with interest. It was turning out to be quite a good day. Rincewind turned slowly, feeling the point of the sword scrape along his ribs. At the other end of the blade he recognized stern Withel, thief, cruel swordsman, disgruntled contender for title of worst man in the world. Hi, he said weakly. A few yards away he noticed a couple of unsympathetic men raising the lids of the luggage and pointing excitedly at the bags of gold. Withal smiled. It made an unnerving effect on his scar-crossed face. I know you, he said. A gutter wizard. What is that thing? Rincewind became aware that the lid of the luggage was trembling slightly, although there was no wind, and he was still holding the picture box. This? It makes pictures, he said brightly. Hey, just hold that smile, will you? He backed away quickly and pointed the box. For a moment, Withal hesitated. What? He said. That's fine. Hold it just like that, said Rincewind. The thief paused, then growled and swung his sword back. There was a snap and a duet of horrible screams. Rincewind did not glance around for fear of the terrible things he might see, and by the time Withal looked for him again, he was on the other side of the plaza and still accelerating. There's a gap here. The albatross descended in wide, slow sweeps that ended in an undignified flurry of feathers and a thump as it landed heavily on its platform in the patricianer's bird garden. The custodian of the birds, dozing in the sun, and hardly expecting a long-distance message so soon after the morning's arrival, jerked to his feet and looked up. A few moments later, he was scuttling through the palace corridors, holding the message capsule and, owing to carelessness brought on by surprise, sucking at the nasty beak wound on the back of his hand. Rincewind pounded down an alley, paying no heed to the screams of rage coming from... I did end up starting the timer, didn't I? Of course I didn't. Alright, let's just guess 15 minutes. Shh, shh, shh. I was bad. Shh. Alright. Rincewind pounded down an alley, paying no heed to the screams of rage coming from the picture box, and cleared a high wall with his frayed robes flapping around him like the feathers of a deceived jackdaw. He landed in the forecourt of a carpet shop, scattering the merchandise and customers, and dived through its rear exit trailing apologies, skidded down another alley and stopped, teetering dangerously, just as he was about to plunge unthinkingly into the Ankh. There are said to be some mystical rivers, one drop of which can steal a man's life away. After its turbid passage through the twin cities, the Ankh could have been one of them. In the distance, the city cries of rage took on a shrill note of terror. Rincewind looked around desperately for a boat, or a handhold up the sheer wall on either side of him. He was trapped. Unbidden, the spell welled up in his mind. It was perhaps untrue to say that he had learned it. It had learned him. The episode had led to his expulsion from Unseen University because, for a bet, he had dared to open the pages of the last remaining copy of the creation's own grimoire, the Octova, while the university librarian was otherwise engaged. The spell had leapt out of the pages and instinctively buried deeply into his mind, whence even the combined talents of the faculty of medicine had been unable to coax it. Precisely which one it was they were also unable to ascertain, except that it was one of the 8 basic spells that were intricately interwoven with the very fabrics of time and space itself. Since then, it had been showing a worrying tendency, when Rincewind was feeling run down or especially threatened, to try to get itself said. He clenched his teeth together, but the first syllable forced itself around the corners of his mouth. His left hand raised involuntarily, and, as the magical forces whirled him around, began to give off octarine sparks. This is why I didn't have the drink. Alright. It's juice. Where was it? The luggage hurtled around the corner, its several hundred knees moving like pistons. Rincewind gasped. The spell died, unsaid. The box didn't appear to be hampered in any way by the oriental rug draped rougishly over it, nor by the thief hanging by one arm from the lid. It was, in a very real sense, a dead weight. Further along the lid was the remains of 2 fingers, owner unknown. The luggage halted a few feet from the wizard, and, after a moment, retracted its legs. It had no eyes that Rincewind could see, but he was none the less sure that it was staring at him, expectingly. "Shoo!" he said. Oh, sorry. That was way too tough for Rincewind. Hold on. "Shoo!" he said weakly. It didn't budge, but the lid creaked open, releasing the dead thief. Rincewind remembered about the gold. Presumably the box had to have a master. In the absence of Twoflower, had it adopted him? The tide was turning, and he could see debris drifting downstream in the yellow afternoon light towards the river gate, a mere 100 yards downstream. It was the work of a moment to let the dead thief join them. Even if it was found later, it would hardly cause comment, and the sharks in the estuary were used to solid, regular meals. Rincewind watched the body drift away, and considered his next move. The luggage would probably float. All he had to do was wait until dusk and then go out with the tide. There were plenty of wild places downstream where he could wade ashore and then... Well, if the Patricia really had sent out word about him, then a change of clothes and a shave should take care of that. In any case, there were other lands, and he had a facility. He was good at languages. Can't say that word. Facility? For languages. Let him but get to Chimera or Gorn, or Echelpone, or half a dozen armies couldn't bring him back. And then, wealth, comfort, security, there was, of course, the problem of Twoflower. Rincewind allowed him a moment's sadness. It could be worse, he said, by way of farewell. It could be me. It was when he tried to move that he found his robe was caught on some obstruction. By craning his neck, he found that the edge of it was being gripped firmly by the luggage's lid. Yeah, no. No. You don't want to turn on the luggage. Okay. There was a break. Ah, Gropal, said the petitioner pleasantly. Come in, sit down. Can I press you to a candied starfish? I am yours to command, master, said the old man calmly, save, perhaps, in the matter of preserved ancient dormans. The petitioner shrugged and indicated the scroll on the table. Read that, he said. Gropal picked up the parchment and raised one eyebrow slightly when he saw the familiar endragh of the Golden Empire. He read in silence for perhaps a moment, and then turned the scroll over to examine minuscule the seal on the observe. You are famed as a student of the Empire affairs, said the petitioner. Can you explain this? Knowledge in the matter of the Empire lies less in the noting particular events than in studying a certain case of mind, said the old diplomat. The message is curious, yes, but not surprising. This morning the Emperor instructed, the petitioner allowed himself the luxury of a scowl. Instructed me, gasped Gropal, to protect this Twoflower person. Now it seems I must have him killed. You don't find that surprising? No, the Emperor is no more than a boy. He is idealistic, keen, a god to his people, whereas this afternoon's letter is, unless I am very mistaken, from Turning Mirror, the great vizier, great grand vizier. He has grown old in the service of several emperors. He regards them as necessary but tiresome ingredients in the successful runnings of the empire. He does not like things out of place. The empire, not the emperor. The empire was not built by allowing things to get out of place. This is his view. I begin to see, said the petitioner. Quite so. Gropal smiled into his beard. This tourist is a thing that is out of place. After acceding to his master's wishes, 9 turning mirrors would, I am quite sure, make his own arrangements with a view to ensure that one wandering, I am quite sure, making his own arrangements with a view to assuring that one wanderer would not be allowed to return home bringing, perhaps, the disease of dissatisfaction. The Empire likes people to stay where it put them. So much more convenient, then, if this Twoflower disappeared for good in the barbarian lands, meaning here, master. And your advice, said the petitioner? Gropal shrugged. Merely that you should do nothing. Matters will undoubtedly resolve themselves. However, he scratched an ear thoughtfully. Perhaps the Assassin's Guild? Yes, said the petitioner. That's what I'm going to call him. I know that's not his name, but shh. The Assassin's Guild. Who is their president at the moment? Zlorpal Flannelfoot. Listen to how this name is spelled. Z-L-O-R-F. Zlorf? Flannelfoot, master. Have a word with him, will you? Quite so, master. The patrician nodded. It was all rather relief. He agreed with 9 Turning Mirror. Life was difficult enough. People ought to stay where they were put. Brilliant constellations shone down on the Discworld. One by one, the traders shuttered their shops. One by one, the gangifs, thieves, fine writers, whores, illustrationists, backsliders, and second-story man awoke and breakfast. Wizards went about their polydimensional affairs. Tonight saw the conjuring of 2 powerful planets, and already the air over the magical quarters was hazy with early spells. "Look," said Rincewind, "this isn't getting us anywhere." He inched sideways. The luggage followed faithfully, lid half open and menacing. Rincewind briefly considered making a desperate leap to safety. The lid smacked down smacked in that should be snapped in anticipation. In any case, he told himself with sinking heart, the damn thing would only follow him again. It had that dogged look about it. Even if he managed to get to a horse, he had a nasty suspicion that it would follow him at its own pace, endlessly, swimming rivers and oceans, gaining slowly every night, while he had to stop to sleep. And then one day, in some exotic city, and years hence, he'll hear the sound of hundreds of tiny feet accelerating down the road behind him. "You've got the wrong man," he moaned. "It's not my fault. I didn't kidnap him." The box moved forward slightly. Now there was just a narrow strip of greasy jetty between Rincewind's heels and the river. A flash of precognition told him that the box would be able to swim faster than he could. He tried not to imagine what it would be like to drown in the Ankh. "It won't stop until..." sorry, that's not Rincewind. "It won't stop until you give in, you know," said a small voice conversationally. Rincewind looked down at the incograph still hanging around his neck. Its trapdoor was open, and the homunculus was leaning against the frame, smoking a pipe and watching the proceedings with amusement. "I'll take you in with me, at least," said Rincewind through gritted teeth. The imp took the pipe out of the mouth. "What did you say?" he said. "I said I'll take you with me, dang it." "Suit yourself," the imp tapped the side of the box meaningfully. "We'll see who sings first." The luggage yawned and moved forward a fraction of an inch. "Oh, all right," said Rincewind irritatedly, "but you'll have to give me time to think." The luggage backed off slowly. Rincewind edged his way back onto reasonably safe land and sat down with his back against a wall. Across the river, the lights of Ankh City glowed. "You're a wizard," said the picture imp. "You'll think of some way to find him." Not much of a Not much of a wizard, I'm afraid." "You can just jump down on everyone and turn them into worms," the imp added encouragingly, ignoring his last remark. "No, turning to animals is an 8th level spell. I never even completed my training. I only know one spell." "Well, that'll do." "I doubt it," said Rincewind hopelessly. "What does it do, then?" "Can't tell you. Don't really want to talk about it, but frankly," he sighed, "no spells are much good. It takes 3 months to commit even a single one to memory, and then once you've used it, poof, it's gone. That's what's so stupid about the whole magic thing, you know. You spend 20 years learning the spell that makes nude virgins appear in your bathroom, and then you're so poisoned... Oh, okay. You spend 20 years learning the spell that makes nude virgins appear in your bedroom, and then you're so poisoned by quicksilver fumes and half blind from reading old grimoires that you can't remember what happens next." "I never thought of it like that," said the imp. "Hey, look, this is all wrong. When Twoflower said they'd they'd got better kinds of magic in the Empire, I thought..." The imp looked at him expectantly. Rincewind cursed himself. "Well, if you must know, I thought he didn't mean magic, not as such. What else is there, then?" Rincewind began to feel really wretched. "I don't know," he said. "A better way of doing things, I suppose. Something with a bit of sense in it. Harnessing the lightning or something." The imp gave him a kind but pitying look. "Lightning is the spears hurled by the thunder giants when they fight," it said gently. Established meteorological fact. You can't harness it." "I know," said I'm not doing the right voice for that. "I know," said Rincewind miserably. "That's the flaw in the argument, of course." The imp nodded and disappeared into the depths of the incograph. A few moments later, Rincewind smelled bacon frying. He waited until his stomach couldn't stand the strain anymore, and tapped on the box. The imp reappeared. "I've been thinking about what you said," it said, before Rincewind could open his mouth. "And even if you could get a harness on it, how could you get it to pull a cart?" What the hell are you talking about? Lightning. It just goes up and down. You want it to go along, not up and down. Anyways, it probably burned through the harnesses. I don't care about... I don't care about lightning. How can I think on an empty stomach? Eat something then. That's logic. How? Every time I move, the darn box flexes its hinges at me. The luggage, on cue, gaped widely. See? It's not trying to bite you, said the imp. I'll finish this line then, said the imp. There's food in there. You are no use to it starved. So yeah, we're starting to learn that the luggage can totally control its lid by its own self, and it's great. I love the luggage. The most threatening thing of all time, and it's only a box with legs. That's all it is. It's also unbreakable, but, you know, that's besides the point. So yeah, Rincewind. Twoflower has been captured. We find out that Rincewind is no wizard at all. It doesn't say his main thing. So, the main thing about Rincewind, and it didn't mention it in here yet, and I'm so sad about that. It's only mentioned his apron, his robes and stuff, but he's actually got a hat with wizard like beaded in, but it's got two Z's, so it's Wizzar. A D. Sorry, I got the D. And I don't know. I like that he has to announce himself as a wizard. To get people to know he's a wizard. I love it. Alright, anyways, so that was this part of, sorry, I'm just finding my spot. This part of Color of Magic. I hope I brought a smile to your face. Hopefully next time we'll be able to save Twoflower. I mean, I know. But you don't know. Yeah, also, Emperor, well, the Vizier doesn't want Twoflower back in the area, or in the, on the counterweight continent. So that kind of stinks. Anyways, like I said, I hope it brought a smile to your face. Night-night, guys.